All right, folks, we are live. Of course, it's 7 o'clock, but I want to get into it right now and talk about what this video is all about because we just did the tank Warframe tier list. And if you watch that video, there's a couple things that I'm going to talk about. First things first, it was 26 Warframes. That's why I have this up. Ooh. It looks like YouTube is not receiving my footage. That's great. Let's take a look at that. Let's bring this over here and figure out what's going on with that. Okay, YouTube is not receiving anything. What is going on with that? Okay. Don't like that. Alright, let's do this. Yeah, unless it's just... No, it is working. Oh, this thing isn't working, though. Okay, this thing isn't working. Okay, that sucks. Okay. I mean, that's fine. It is live, but I just won't have a feed. Okay, well, I'm sorry about that. That's a little bit of wasted time, but yes. Today we are talking about, reviewing all the tank Warframes. We're a minute in, so we should just get right into it. I want to kind of go over the tier list one more time so that we understand what's going on. I'm just going to do the top 10 in this situation. I think if I just do 10, that'll be S tier and A tier, then you can kind of get into it from there. It's not going to be super crazy. Like, there's a lot of examples on this list that I just want to put on there, so people understand what they're there for. But anyway, before I get into it, let's just start off with Hydroid. Number one on the list. Obviously, I've talked about it before. His rework, I think they did a great job. I think it's awesome. I think like the main thing with Hydroid is like he is just like so good as like both a DPS and a tank, and like the fact that I don't have to change any of my builds, I don't have to change anything, and it's just gonna work. It just works. That's what they say, folks. It just works. But the main thing is like with Hydroid, he's so good at just spamming your abilities, and of course I've put a Helminth in there. So he's gonna have Coil Horizon at max range at 280% range. So you're just spamming Coil Horizon and all these abilities, so you can really clear, just completely map wipe. And then you're also talking about things like, being able to use different weapons because of the active CC. Anyway, number 2 on the list, Grendel. I put Grendel on the number 2 slot because I think he's a great example of just a triple buff frame that has way too many buffs. Like, he's got infinite energy with his 2, he's got bonus damage with his 2, he's got the roar buff. Like, he's just on another level. Like, he's just way too good. Like Grendel, and then the fact that you can also just run around as a ball and you get 100% armor strip, it's like, folks, Grendel is insane. Like, he is something else. I'll tell you what, folks, he is something else. But the main thing is like, people will say like, oh, maybe Wisp should be in this spot, and I think that was kind of my conundrum, was which one do I put on this list. But yeah, his 2 gives you double buffs. One of them is infinite energy. I think it applies to the squad, although sometimes it can be a little goofy. You got damage, and then you got another damage stack from roar, and then of course you got that. You've got that armor strip. Oh, Skypix at the 4-minute mark. I guess the stream is working. What's up, Skypix? In the YouTube chat, shout out Skypix. Anyways, he just says hello. Before I get distracted, I just kind of want to move on. I think Grendel is pretty straightforward. He's really fun. He's kind of goofy and fun. He's so weird, but he's great. Anyway, number 3 on the list, Styanax. Styanax, kind of a newer Warframe. Good to see him really high on the list. Like, he does come out on top, but I will say his build is like really intensive, and I definitely think like he's a great example of, you're not going to get him for a while. You won't get him very early in the game, but he's definitely worth it once you get him. He's got armor strip. You can either use Theros Strike, or you can do what I did and replace it with Pillage, so that you always have max shields. Which doesn't really matter because your 4 is going to just be an insane... It's kind of a DPS ability, but kind of not really. So I didn't put the tag there. But the main thing is like his 1, the Javelin, is great as like a Korra pull, not necessarily like a 30-meter pull, but more like a 20-meter pull. And a 20-meter pull is more something where you're like, oh, I see a group, I can pull them and then use 1 bullet instead of maybe 3 bullets. So it's like, it's a little bit of ammo economy, it's a little bit of whatever, but I think in the end it's such an easy ability to use, and it deals so much damage here. I've been messing up. We need to show Goss in full. There we go. Let's tab back over here. His 4 is going to give you that insane overguard, which is why he's a tank. His 1, which is the javelin, is just a really nice, like, classic 20-meter CC. And then of course you've got the armor strip ability. So he also has the buff in there. He's got the double buff going from his 3. So like, dude, he is. I mean, I guess it's really just you get free energy for his 3. So that would be a single buff. So you'd add, you would go in here and you'd be like this. Watch this. And that's it. So now it's like when you do the tier list, now you can see like, okay, this is what we're talking about. Okay, hang on one sec. I need to... How do I scroll left and right? There you go. Oh, don't do that. What did I just do? Nope, I'm good. Okay, anyway, sorry about that, folks. Having a little bit of Excel weirdness. Anyway, let's just move on. I mean, I think we can just kind of move on. Styanax is a classic. He's so much fun. I got to be careful with that word. Also, I missed out. Skypick said, I switched his 1 for Nourish. So I didn't know how it worked. Oh, his javelin. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I think my whole thing is like, I am a sucker for active CC abilities. Like, more than probably anybody else in this game. Because it allows me to use weapons that aren't necessarily as good in certain situations. Anyway, number 4 on the list is Mesa. We are at 7 minutes. Mesa. So Mesa is a classic exalted DPS. And what that really means is that there are a lot of exalted weapons. Not all of them have this level of room clearing, map wiping, just lock down a point and just turn everything to loot. Like, just absolute... Woo, I mean, it's just classic. Also, Skypix. For the next, I don't know, however you're long, let me know. Do I have any weird audio glitches or audio artifacts? And I'm going to talk about this while I talk about Mesa. The last 2 streams were so bad. I have to apologize as a producer and an editor. It was garbage. 96,000, hertz. Going in the mixer and 48 and blah blah blah, whatever, producer speak. But I need to keep moving on. But it's like, I'm trying to talk about these frames and it's like, dude, you talk about Mesa and you just have 3 duration based abilities that you're just constantly having to watch and manage, and then you press 4 and everything dies. You just spin around and then all the fodder dies, and then there's like if you're scared, then there's a battlist in front of you. Press 4, look at them, and then they die. Like, I think it's pretty straightforward, folks. Like, I mean, Mesa has always been just instantly so much fun and so arcadey, and you just feel like an absolute idiot, like, for all of the Mesa gameplay that you do. I mean, the double buff, weapon damage from the innate 2, and then I'm gonna replace her 1 with roar. So that's kind of the secret. We'll get into it with the build. Number 5 on the list. The last frame in S tier. I think this is always how I have to do a tier list. Like, this is what a tier list is. It's like, very clearly, it's easy to see like where the tiers are. Like, and so obviously it's like, you've got those, and then those, and then those, and then moving on. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Like, you could break this up into a tier list, but I think it's cleaner to just put in an Excel spreadsheet. Like, maybe I'm just I'm a data hog, whatever. Anyway, number 5 on the list, Wisp, triple buff and a heal. Obviously, if you know Wisp, you're probably fuming that Wisp isn't like number 1 on the list, but no, I'm sorry. And the reason that she's a tank is because obviously you have that free healing. You get like about 120 if you're doing a good like 400% power strength build. Like, that's kind of what you want with Wisp. You want 4 red Archon shards, always 4. You could put 5 if you're feeling goofy, but it looks a little bit cleaner with 4. Well, whatever. Anyway, moving on. Triple buff, heal, fire rate, and then of course, whenever I talk about a triple buff or a double buff, it's always because of roar. And why do I use roar? Because you click a button. Well, first of all, you wait for your whole team to get as close to you as possible, and then you click the button. And then if you're playing Wisp, you give them, what, 120%? You get over 100% damage buff. Just slap it on them. Just way too easy. So much fun. Anyway, yeah, I mean, you get the tank ability because you're using Arcane Guardian, because you have that open Arcane slot, because you know you don't need Arcane Grace. Like, unless you're in a bubble, like, you're not going to worry about your your abilities going away, if you get my meaning. Anyway, I think that I guess the other thing I would say would be like Breach Surge is just really, really useful. My Whisper is 109. Yes. And still gives red crits. Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Skypix, shout out. Good to hear. That's what I want to see. Like, Roar is a class. I think Roar is one of my favorite abilities because it is like a ability for the community. It's like, here, if you get as close to me as possible, you're just going to be like, oh my god, I have 100% damage now. What the hell just happened? Like, that is the most fun I have all day when I'm just doing some random gameplays. When I see some, it's like some crazy, it'll be like a Banshee or something. Like, I don't even know. And you get like 70, 80, 90% roar buff, and you're like, oh my god, that is a build. Anyway, number 6 on the list. Before I get too distracted anyway. Baruuk. DPS Exalted. You're seeing this is why he's lower on the list. Might be kind of a hot take, but I think Baruuk is more of just like his 4th ability is one of the most fun abilities in the game. It's fun to just go wild, but it's not as like oppressively destructive as Mesa. And he is just a classic DPS Exalted. Like, he's just keep all your abilities active. You're going to use Empower. I'm going to use Empower instead of his 1. And then that's going to give me a really solid, insane amount of damage. I mean, it's just ludicrous. It's just dumb. Anyway, he's just so much fun. Like, you can really just run around. And if you're ever scared, you activate your 4. You do a couple slide attacks. Like, the secret is the slide attack. I don't know how much damage that thing does, but it is just... Anything I've ever fought in this game is just turns to mush, like, to that slide. It's just so... Oh, my God. It's so bad. Anyway, it's... Well, bad in a good way. Anyway. Moving on. Number 7 on the list. This might also be heresy to put Saryn this low on the list. A double buff plus a DPS. I mean, what you're really talking about is Saryn is like the OG DPS. Like, keep your 1 active and then spam 4 every once in a while, and you'll get these numbers that are just like, what are we doing, folks? Like, what is this? Like, it's like beyond, like, the only downside to her abilities is that once everything dies, then the spawns can't keep up with the DPS. Like, you will map wipe to the point where there are no more spawns, and then you'll get a fresh set of spawns. It's so, like, Saryn, you put in no effort. Like, and then the whole thing is like, the whole fucking, the most cringe thing ever is you're using the double buff system. Because, of course, you've got Toxic Lash, so you're going to double dip. What should I do with 500 plat? Again, do you have any weapons that you want Orokin catalysts on? I usually say like catalysts or reactors, but now with Nightwave you can kind of get a lot of them. But yeah, I mean, like, you could say like, oh yeah, get the Goss Deluxe skin. No, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna tell you to get cosmetics with plat. If you have a small amount of plat, it's more valuable to get like boosting stuff. And I would say, like, the different potatoes. You already did that. I would say maybe like Exilus weapon adapters. Like, if you don't want to craft Exilus weapon adapters for like your primary weapons that need ammo mutation, that might be a good one. What am I talking about? Saryn, I already kind of, yeah, Toxic Lash is the first buff, and then you're going to rock and roll with a little bit of roar. Okay. I mean, what else was I going to say? All right, folks. What you're really talking about is like you just keep your 2 and your 3 active. I'm going to swap her 2 for roar, of course, because the whole point is like you're going to be better off with 2 offensive abilities versus a defensive and an offensive in most situations. Like I would rather have more damage over being able to escape certain situations. Like whatever, dude, I shouldn't need to escape. Nothing should be alive around me. That's the whole point. Anyway, folks, moving on. Number 8 on the list, Oberon, with a stacked triple tag list. We've got triple buff, we've got armor strip, and we've got healing. Triple buff is a little deceiving. I mean, it's kind of true, but you get the heal per second and the armor from his 3. So you cast 3 as soon as your friends stand on a carpet, your 2. Then you're going to be able to give them a little bit of armor. Not a lot, but a decent amount. It's like 400, 500. It's not terrible, but it's not great either. And of course, can you guess what the 3rd buff is? That's right, folks. It's roar. I am stacking a ton of power strength on his build, I think, and we will get into this in a little bit. But yeah, ton of power strength. Really, you're just rocking and rolling with roar, but it's just so savage. Anyway, let's keep it moving. The whole thing is like armor strip is a little bit like because what you have to do is you have to spam a bunch of carpets. You have to lay down all of this radiation grass that is like his 2nd ability. And then when you press 4, anything that's standing on that grass will get turned. I think I should stop hitting the mic also before I say anything else. Anything that touches the grass is then lifted up and all their armor is stripped instantly. You get 120% armor strip or something. It's guaranteed armor strip. It's way too easy. But I'm not really going to use that because he kind of just is a buff frame, and he's also tank, so you get Arcane Avenger, so you're kind of just running around like a madman. I think it's a pretty great build, but of course we've only got 2 left, and it's 717, and we had a little bit of oopsie daisies at the beginning, but yeah, I do hope the quality is better on this one because I cry a little bit at those. I mean, the comments are right. In the end, folks, what you have to keep in mind is after you're like, damn, that sucks that they left that comment, then you're like, you know what, folks, they're right. They're pretty much right most of the time. And I'm like, yeah. Anyway, number 9 on the list, before I get a little bit mopey. Lavos. Infinite energy and DPS. It's good to see another infinite energy. You can see that infinite energy is like, it shows up a lot on this list because this is a giant list, but also it is the most elusive. Like when I'm going through Netracells, that's where I'm like, oh, this is where infinite energy really gets put to its paces. Like there are certain, like Harrow has infinite energy, but he is not really Netracell capable. Like he kind of lacks a little bit when you're trying to fight a level 220 Necromech, that's being buffed by the Steel Path buffs. Anyway, Lavos, infinite energy because of, what is the answer, class? Cooldowns. That's right. Yes, class. Cooldowns. So, spam your abilities. Your 3rd ability is going to reset your cooldowns, but most of your abilities have pretty short cooldowns, so it's mainly just your 4 that you want to get the cooldown reduced on. And of course, he's a DPS because he can spam his abilities, and his abilities actually do a lot of damage. I've got the Sickening Pulse build in there. It's kind of like one of those like Reddit builds that I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, and then I gave it a shot, and I was like, like as a DPS versus like a just like a pure utility like roar build, I think it works pretty well. But it is a very funky build. It's one of the strangest builds out there, but obviously that's just because Lavos is one of the strangest Warframes out there. Like most people should know that. Like Lavos is very, very weird. But yes, we are at number 10 and it is 7:20. So we definitely doubled the time. It took us 2 minutes to review each Warframe, give or take whatever time at the beginning. But anyway, number 10 on the list. I guess I should talk about Lavos a little bit more, but yeah, I mean, what you're really talking about is like you have to hold down your abilities to get the right element. Then you cast the specific ability, and that is definitely a DPS ability with that bonus damage. But then you're also doing Sickening Pulse, and then you're also activating the same buff again, and then activating that on the other thing. So it's just never ending. It's just like spamming abilities constantly. Like, you're getting the gas damage going, and then you're kind of just running around. But we'll talk about that in the build. Anyway, let's get on to it. Number 10, Kullervo. DPS and a weapon king. Interesting choice. I wanted to get Kullervo on this list. I thought it was nice that he ended up at number 10, like at the bottom of A tier. Like, what you're really talking about is like Kullervo has this kind of like very interesting DPS ability where it's like, as long as he can see something and hit it with his third ability, you can use pretty much any weapon. And the whole point is, the reason he has Weapon King on this list is because suddenly you press 1 and all of your melee weapons have red crits. And you're like, uh-oh, bye-bye enemies. Like, no more enemies. Sorry, folks. They're all gone. No more enemies for you. But yeah, I mean, he's so much fun. Your second ability is the reason that he's a tank. You're going to give him a ton, like an insane amount of, overguard. And you can just spam it. Like, you can spam it's the best overguard ability. Like, it's so clean. It's so easy. But yes, the reason that I want to put him on the list is this is the frame that I'm going to be shooting for when I eventually return to, that series, speedrunning the New War. We got through the basic starter missions, and now we're at a point where like we're literally just farming Fortuna, farming Deviri when Kullervo comes around, and then also farming some other stuff. Those necromechs are strong. Yeah, Sky, dude. Yeah, they're fucking scary. No, and that's the whole point. Is like, the reason that you put together this list is because this is a way for you to qualify. Like, a lot of these frames are really, really strong, but they will not work in a Netracell. Like, only Grendel and Garuda and Lavos, maybe. Lavos is a maybe. If I had a roar build on Lavos, I think it would work better. But it's very limited. Like, you need someone with infinite energy. And then you just need someone that is able to output a ton of DPS through their weapon. So you need like a double build. Like, Grendel is literally purpose built for Netracells. Like, Grendel like clears house. It is just absurd. So anyway, I'm done. I mean, I wanted to do the top 10. It's 7:22. 22 minutes is pretty good, but yeah, that's a time cut. We're gonna move this over here. Now, what are we talking about? We're going through the builds. I'm going to try and do this speed round because we already did this once. I'm kind of double dipping on the time codes, but I do still have to put the time codes in there, so let's do it. Number 1 on the list, the top tank frame, Hydroid Prime. Let's do it. The big thing with Hydroid Prime is you're going to see a ton of Archon shards. Let me move this over. Oh. Okay. I think that looks good. All right. Yes, let's do this. 4 blue Archon shards, 2 for health, 2 for energy. And the reason for that is that Plunder is going to be a pretty high energy ability, so you want to be able to spam this. It's got a 44-second duration, so that's pretty good. But obviously you're seeing Coil Horizon, and you should be seeing also 280% range. So let's just talk about the build. Let's do it. I want to do these 10 Warframes as fast as possible. So, first of all, what you're seeing in terms of mods, we've got the classic Double Umbra plus Adaptation. We've got Stretch, Augur Reach, Overextended, Cunning Drift, which is getting us to 280% range. We've got Prime Continuity and Augur Message. Obviously very nice to get a little bit of bonus duration for some of his abilities, especially his third ability. I guess TikTok is kind of freaking out right now, but whatever, man. But yeah, I mean, he's got the tank builds. He's got growing power because he does only have 95% strength, but it is kind of crazy that with Overextended, all you really need is Umbral Vitality, Umbral Intensify, and then growing power, and then you can still have over 100% strength, and that's pretty impressive for any kind of like max range build. So let's talk about it. I'm going to start with 4th ability being replaced with Coil Horizon. This is just a vacuum ability, a vortex ability. 33 meters is, I think, the biggest in the game. I think this one, takes the cake in terms of that statistic. But that's the main ability that I love because it allows you to use a lot of different weapons that maybe aren't as good as some other weapons. We've got Plunder in the mix. Plunder is, of course, the main ability. I mean, you've got this insane range when you have max range. So you're pulling armor from enemies. And then you're going to get that armor bonus. You're going to get over 700, probably over 800, which is nice to have that 300 base armor, 290 base armor. You're also going to get some bonus corrosive damage. So it's a lot of like DPS or like buff damage and also like armor. So, you know, I could count this as like, you know, a buff, but it's really more of like a DPS ability because it plays into his other abilities. Tidal Surge, whatever. It's good to keep it on there, but I'm not really going to use it. But his main choice is that Tempest Barrage is something you're just going to be spamming. It's got a lot of corrosive damage when you pair it with this. So you're really just spamming Coil Horizon, keeping Tempest Barrage, keeping his 1 and his 4 in this case in the same area. Because that, whatever, you want to call it, explosives raining from the sky, it's going to be in a specific area. It's not very big, so you kind of have to nail it down pretty well. So Coil Horizon is a little bit funky to use. You kind of have to you have to click it twice. So you click it once to roll it out and then again to activate it. So it ends up being a little bit Shaz. Like it sucks sometimes, but you'll get used to it. It's very weird though, and that's why it's like sometimes I can't really recommend a lot of these builds. Dude, Krill Prime. I know who that is. That's Krill, dude. Anyway, that's not Krill. That's Hydroid. We're moving on though. We're done. I mean, that's Hydroid for you. He's got a lot of corrosive damage. He's got this really nice ability where you can just keep Coil Horizon if you already had that build. I don't think anyone did because I don't think anyone's a fucking maniac like I am. But yes, of course, the classic with any tank frame is getting access to Arcane Grace, and that open slot gets you Arcane Avenger because, of course, you're hitting 1,000 armor when you have his 3 active. So, pretty savage. Let's move on. Number 2 on the list, Grendel. Oof. Folks, longtime viewers know I love Grendel. Look at this. Very straightforward. 1 yellow Archon Shard. I didn't mention the yellow Archon Shard on Hydroid, but you guys know what that's all about. Yellow Archon Shard for energy bonus. Excuse me for that. And then, of course, you got Azure Archon Shard for energy maximum to hit 300 once again. Kind of a nice trend to see. Anyway, let's just get into it. His 4th ability, which is Regurgitate, has been replaced with Roar. Of course, the classic setup is just going to be double Umbra adaptation. You're going to notice I've got Nearest Hatred, Augur Message, Primed Continuity for duration. And then I'm taking some of that away when I'm using Transient Fortitude to get bonus strength. I've got Augur Secrets, Power Drift, and then Growing Power to give me literally as much power strength as I can fit on the build. It's just a strength duration build. Like, most frames end up... they end up either being a range build or a strength duration build. But there's definitely a few frames that are really, really weird. And it's going to be fun to talk about them, but anyway. Those are the mods. How does he work, folks? How does he work? You spam your 1, you keep 5 enemies in your belly, you keep your Nourish active, you just click 2 as long as there's an enemy in your belly. You're going to get infinite energy, you're going to get that 3.5 energy multiplier, which is actually going to be a tiny bit higher. You're going to get that viral damage. You're also going to get Roar in there. So, of course, that makes him a triple buff. And you know it. You love it. The bubble. The ball. Giving you 100% armor reduction. I think as long as you have an enemy in your belly. What's the best build in your opinion? I would say probably like a hybrid... Like, honestly, like a Hydroid, where it's like an active CC, but then it also has some kind of DPS. Like a Korra is pretty good. Korra is really nice because she gets active CC plus being a buff from Roar. But yeah, I mean, Grendel is really nice. You just kind of keep these abilities active. If you're in a scary situation, you strip their armor and then kill them instantly. And then as long as you have enemies in your belly, that's pretty much chilling. And of course, all tanks... Arcane Grace, Arcane Avenger. Anyway, let's move on. We're done. That's number 2 on the list, Grendel Prime. Let's talk about number 3 on the list, Styanax, with a single yellow Archon Shard for energy. Okay, let's talk about it. Looking good, looking snazzy. Very funky setup. Double Umbra, no adaptation. I've got Boreal's Hatred for bonus shields. I've got Intrepid Stand, which we are going to talk about. That's going to give you an insane amount of overguard. It's so simple to just click 4, go wild. Like, really just, come on, folks. I mean, it's just so simple. What's not to love? Anyway, Intrepid Stand, a very fun ability, very fun augment. We've got Prime Flow in there. We've got Prime Continuity, and then we've got a little bit of power strength from Augur Secrets and Power Drift plus Growing Power. So you're also going to notice some very funky setups over here. And that's because Overguard tanks are in this weird spot where they don't really need a lot of survivability, because the whole point is to spam whatever Overguard ability you have to keep that Overguard up. And it's pretty easy to just keep it up. I mean, unless you're doing like multi-hour survivals, I think you'll be okay. I don't think it's super scary. You should be able to spam it pretty easily. Molt Augmented. This is what I want to talk about. Get as much Overguard as you can. On kill, you get bonus ability strength. So you do have to get 250 kills. So this definitely incentivizes longer missions. You're not going to get a good buff any other way. And of course, Arcane Avenger, the staple. But of course, drumroll please. I think we've covered all the mods. Boreal's Hatred is a fun one, I guess. Shield capacity, ability efficiency. So guess what? His passive. Free crit chance. Free crit chance when you have shield. So that's the first buff. His second buff is Rally Point, giving you energy recharge. You talk about his active CC ability, Axios Javelin, 21 meters. So it's essentially a Korra size suck or vortex or whatever you want to call it. His second has been replaced. His second is an armor strip and a shield strip, but it's actually been replaced with Pillage, of course, to keep your shields full, but it doesn't really matter because you will have Overguard. So obviously the staple, 29,000 Overguard cap, 100 Overguard every time you hit an enemy. Every time, I think, or every time a Javelin hits an enemy. So if there's 47 Javelins, then you're going to get 4,700 Overguard, I guess. Whatever. Is that how the math checks out? Hey, maybe the math checks out, maybe it doesn't. Anyway, that should pretty much cover Styanax. So you've got this free ability. It's going to give you free shields. You don't care. It's going to give you free energy. That's the nice one. You've got free crit chance. Keep Pillage active. Spam Pillage. It's very fun to just spam it. You get Axios going. It's a free CC. I literally only have Stretch, which I think I forgot to mention, but that's 45% range. 45% range. And yeah, I mean, basically what you're talking about is he's one of those frames where you literally are just spamming your abilities. Like, I feel like I talk about it with more and more with these frames, but like, you just need as much energy as you possibly can, and you don't actually need Arcane Energize. Like, you can just use Rally Point and the Archon Shard, and you're kind of able to spam your 4 and your 2 and your 1 as much as possible, and this is going to give you insane amounts of free energy. So it's really nice. Obviously, Boreal's Hatred giving you a little bit of efficiency. So moving down the list, number 4 on the list, we've got Mesa to talk about. Mesa, I mean, folks, an OG in the community. I mean, if people haven't been ranting and raving about Mesa for as long as I've been playing this game, then you haven't been playing this game. Like, people go crazy for Mesa. Can you guess what the Archon Shards are? We've got double Tau Forged Strength, and we've got double normal Crimson for ability duration. So let's talk about it. Spam heavy. Very spam heavy right off the bat. You've got triple buffs to keep active. You've got a damage buff and a damage buff and a defense buff. 95% is really nice. Let's talk about the mods. We've got double Umbra adaptation, which is going to come in clutch with the 95% damage reduction. We've got Nearest Hatred, and then Primed Continuity and Prime Flow. So we're getting decent duration, but also the Prime Flow is going to save you in a lot of situations. And then, of course, Transient Fortitude, Augur Secrets. You're going to try and get as much strength as you can. Transient Fortitude is going to take away a little bit of ability duration, but you're still okay overall. And of course, the mandatory slot is Mesa's Waltz. You need to have this. This allows you to move in the Mesa Peace Walker or Peacemaker. Some people might take it out. What I would say is, mobility is key in this game, and you can still roll. When you're in Peacemaker, you can roll around at full speed. And so if you have that faster roll mod, then you are going to be cruising around the map in Peacemaker, able to dodge bullets and just position yourself in a better spot to have a better angle to clear out another section of the map. Of course, growing power is a necessity. Nearest hatred is a fun one. Free ability duration and health. So really, really savage. Super fun. Of course, because she's a tank, she's got that open slot, which is taken up by Arcane Energize because she is a spam-heavy Warframe. And, of course, Arcane Grace coming in clutch. We got Vincent Williams sending some likes my way. Shout out, Vincent. That's in the TikTok chat. Grace giving you some nice survivability. So that pretty much covers it for the build, but let's talk about it. You've got Roar, Shooting Gallery, and Shatter Shield. But look at this, 40 seconds, 48 and 48. So these two will be the exact same duration. This one will be a little bit weirder, so you'll be off time with this. Keep your 3's abilities active. You don't actually need to use your 4 if you don't really need to. It's pretty easy to just take advantage of the buffs and just clear out the map. But if you're ever scared, here's what I say. Here's the strat. You're doing conjunction. Okay, Battlist shows up. You're doing conjunction. Battlist and who is it? Who's the guy with Mag's bubble? He shows up. With the guy with the Opticore, he shows up as well. You pop into Peacemaker, and you turn everything to dust. Okay, everything dies. Nothing lives with Peacemaker. Nothing lives with Peacemaker. And that's why we're going to talk about Peacemaker. The skin is insane. The skin is so baller. I love this Tau skin. It's so cool. Anyway, let's talk about the Peacemaker. We got 75% crit. Look at those numbers, 6.3 on the crit multiplier. Obviously, you've got the standard mods, damage, multi-shot. You've got creeping bullseye and target cracker, so you're still rocking 20 bullets a second on the fire rate. And of course, you've got viral plus the classic for all pistols, as you know on this channel, primed heated charge, rocking 590 heat. So you're getting real nice heat damage. You're cruising and bruising. What you're really talking about is this damage is going to ramp up almost instantly. You don't really need to click anything for very long before it dies. Like, it is just, oh my god. Like, Mesa is one of those OG, just gold, just shining beacons of hope that, like, this game is just, mwah, like, perfect arcade shooter. Perfect. And, dude, we've been getting, I think it's Mr. Drywall, if I'm not mistaken. He's been farming a ton of Prime Warframes, and I'm like, every single one that he's getting, I'm like, banger, certified banger. And it's like, yeah, they may not be S tier or A tier, but they are still really, really good. Anyway, before I get distracted, number 5 on the list, Wisp. And in this case, Wisp Prime. Very special Warframe. Obviously, we've got the quadruple red Archon shards for ability strength, with 2 of them being Tau Forged. And then, of course, the free energy one is going to be a necessity in this one. All right, let's talk about it. Literally as much ability strength as you can possibly get. That's the basic gist of it. Fused Reservoir allows you to cast all 3 at once for a little bit less energy, so it's pretty nice. Obviously, you don't need your shock mote, so you essentially get the shock mote for same to just cast 2 of them anyway, and it would be a little bit slower. Okay, here we go. Blind Rage, Transient Fortitude, Augur Secrets, plus double Umbra adaptation and primed continuity. And of course, whenever you use Blind Rage, I'm only going to put Streamline. I'm not going to play it without Streamline. So we are looking at, before all the buffs, we are looking at 114 healing per second. We are looking at 114 fire rate and 76 speed multiplier. That's the actual movement speed. And then, of course, we're looking at a 114 roar buff. So insanely criminal. You got that 3 in there just rocking and rolling. If you're ever scared, press 3. they all get stunned, and then they all die. So it's not very scary. She's really fun. She's one of the best support frames. She's an absolute king, queen, whatever you want to call her. I really think that she just can do no wrong. Like, if you're playing her right, you are an asset to your squad. I also want to mention Arcane Guardian is what's making her a tank, and so of course Arcane Avenger is the other slot. But of course you don't need healing because you have healing. You have 114 probably going on 120 when you are in mission. Like, that is fucking criminal. That's so good. It's way too easy, and it's so simple. You just stand on the moat and you get it for, what is the time? 38 seconds. So it's not too bad. Of course you have Transient Fortitude taking some duration away, but yes, the last frame in S tier, that's Wisp. Absolute classic. Truly one of the standouts in like the newer. She's not that new anymore, but she is new in my heart. Like, she'll always be new. I'll always be of that era where I was like, I had the time and I had a little bit of spare income so I could get shit for Warframe, and I was like, fuck, man, that was a good era. Like, literally grinding everything in the game. That's what I was doing. Baruuk, before I get distracted again, Baruuk is number 6 on the list, the first frame in the A tier. He's got 2 blue shards for health, he's got 2 red shards for strength, and of course he's got the yellow shard for energy, the classic setup. Keep it moving. You're going to notice as much strength as I can get. Reactive Storm is a must. This is going to turn your 4 into essentially Revenant's abilities. Dude, Vincent sending a rose. Shout out Vincent. This is your 4 becomes Revenant, but it's also a exalted weapon. So what you're really talking about is double Umbra adaptation. You've got Streamline, Augur Secrets, Stretch. You're going to notice Transient Fortitude and Power Strength or Power Drift along with Growing Power. I have negative duration, and that's because I want lull to dissipate as fast as possible so I can cast it again. I want the sleep to activate so that I can then cast it again and then get the bonus faster, because none of my abilities care about duration. None of them. So how does the build work? It's very straightforward. You have 2 separate abilities that you want as much ability strength as possible, because there's no reason not to. So what you're going to do is you're going to put Empower on your 1, because I'll say it once and I'll say it again. I would rather be killing more things versus worrying about survivability. Okay, if I can replace an ability with something that's just going to make me stronger, I'm probably just going to do that. So Defy, no. Elude, yes. Elude is going to essentially be an instant swap in the Helminth. So that's free ability strength, 50% ability strength on your 3 and your 4. So you're going to get like 24 charges maybe after Growing Power. So of course, as a tank, he's got Arcane Grace and Avenger. So what you're really talking about is this is going to give you a ton of charges to your teammates, and the objective, you're going to have 90% damage reduction up to about 10 of them, I think. So you're going to like always have 90%. And then guess what? You activate Empower again once you've been spamming Lull and spamming Desolate Hands. These are going to build your meter, kill it, delete it. And then you spam Serene Storm, and then you go wild. You just delete. You just do a bunch of slide attacks, and you turn everything to mush. Okay? So that's pretty classic. I think we should just keep it moving, though. It is time, I think. Yeah. To talk about Desert Wind. Look at this. Double sacrificial. But here's the thing. It's a weird one. 187 on the crit chance. 124 on the status. But what am I doing? I've got Volcanic Edge in there. I've got Condition Overload. I've got Gladiator Might. I've got Prime Fury, Organ Shatter, and Quickening. So we got double speed buffs. We've got double crit damage. We've got over almost 200% crit chance. So we're easily getting to red crit territory instantly. And then, of course, Heat is an interesting choice. I love Condition Overload as well. Heat is going to go along with his Augment, which is going to give you this really, really insane Revenant-esque ability where you're going to always be dealing the correct status type for each enemy. Like, you're going to be dealing shield, you're going to be dealing magnetic against shield, you're going to be dealing corrosive against armor, or radiation against other armor types. So what you're really talking about with Baruuk is you're talking about this ability to just clear the circle, press 4, clear everything in the map, run around like a madman, whether it's Deviri circuits, whether it's, you know, conjunction survival. It's going to be crazy. We should keep moving a little bit faster. Number 7 on the list is going to be up next. And number 7 on the list is my number 1 most used Warframe, Saryn Prime. Good to see her on the list. Good to see her in the top 10, of course. What do we got here? Energy orbs, of course, and bonus armor. That's going to come in clutch to get her to 1,000 armor, which is 77% damage reduction. Not as good as you would want, but still pretty useful, especially on a DPS where nothing should be alive around you. Okay, let's talk about it. We've got double Umbra, triple Umbra. There you go. Triple Umbra adaptation. Love that. We've got Prime Continuity as the only duration. We've got Stretch as the only range, and then we've got Transient Fortitude, Augur Secrets, Power Drift, and of course Growing Power, and then of course we've got Arcane Grace and Arcane Avenger. So what you're really talking about with this build is get as much power strength as you can. You've got a decent chunk of range for this and this. You got 29 meters on the AoE, and you've got 23 meters on the spread. Roar is going to be a decent chunk of damage, and it's going to be the same as Toxic Lash, so these are always going to be the same bonuses. I love having just Toxin, because Toxin is also another built-in damage over time, so it's good to stack damage over time abilities. I love doing that. So what you're really talking about is keeping these 2 active, spamming your 1, and then at that point the whole, it's a game. Well, it's a game inside of a game. It's a meta game. Spam your 1, maybe hit your 4 a couple times, and see how long it takes you to delete every single enemy in your minimap. Just turn all the red triangles into nothing, okay? That's the game with Saryn. It's way too easy. Like, Saryn is so much fun in this way of, like, the true classic DPS, in the sense that, like, she really incentivizes you to be like, okay, yes, part of it is being able to spam your abilities like a madman, but the other half of it is like you have to know where to go and how fast to move and where to press your 4 and how many times to be pressing your 1. Like, it gets to be a little bit intricate, but overall I would say it's so much fun. As a true DPS, you know, you got the double buff and of course the triple Umbra. So you know, I gotta say it at this point, it's a classic example of a tank that also has a bunch of things going for her besides just being a tank. Anyway, number 8 on the list. Special boy, Oberon Prime. Where are you, bud? Oberon, I know you're down at the bottom. There you are, looking snazzy. I love the Blade of the Lotus skin. One of my favorite skins. It comes out looking so nice with the red overtones. Oh my, like the accenting. Oh. And speaking of red, double, quadruple red Archon shards, 2 of them being Tau Forged, all of them for ability strength. Let's talk about it. Okay. Triple Umbra, adaptation, prime flow, prime continuity, first of all. We've got rage for more energy. We've got adaptation. I already mentioned that. And then we've got stretch and power drift. So what you're going to notice, not a lot of strength. Obviously, we've got growing power. So you're going to need all those red Archon shards. But of course, the main thing is he has built-in healing, so you don't have to worry about Arcane Grace. So you put in Arcane Energize and Arcane Avenger. And now your whole goal is, like, if you're ever in a stressful situation, what you're going to do is you're going to get growing power, and you're going to activate your 3 instantly. And then at the same time, almost immediately after, you're going to activate your carpet, your 2, stand in it, get the 400 armor. You're going to be at 1,000 armor at that point. Because this is going to give you, what, 484. So after growing power, it's going to be about 500. So, you know, you get free armor. Nourish, not roar. I mean, dude, fair play. No, I'll always say that I think the reason that I use roar is I think it's really valuable for a team to just get in a group and then just give everyone free damage, and that's it. But yeah, I think people there, dude, the Nourish stand-em goes hard. But no, I don't use Nourish. I don't feel like I need viral on all my builds. Like, I think I already have enough viral, and I'm pretty sure it skews the stat spreads. I don't know if it does, but I hate any ability that skews the stat spreads. That's something that I just it's just kind of whatever. But anyway, before I get distracted, you got Roar and the replacing the first slot. Yeah, like I said before, it's really nice just as a passive buff. The main thing is, like, I believe the secret hack with Roar is that it's gonna give you some kind of bonuses for damage over time abilities. So, you know me, I love fire on my pistols. I love 100 munitions on my rifle. So it's going to really incentivize that. I don't know if that's accurate. I don't know how I would test that, but there's some theory or Reddit post or whatever. I don't know. I should do the research. I don't know. I'm sure it exists somewhere. Anyway, before I get distracted again, the last thing to mention, that's the triple buff. You get armor and health, and then you get Roar as the damage buff. And then, of course, his armor strip is going to come from spamming down a bunch of carpets and then hitting them with 4, which is only a 21 meter radius. So it's not a big radius because you only have 45 meters, or 45%, but it's still good enough to kind of do what you need to do. So that's the main thing. I don't really feel the need to use his 4. I think he does really well as just a classic buff. Like, you just run around like a madman, clear everything out. You're never really scared. You have infinite energy, so you never really have to worry about anything. And that's the thing. It's like Nourish would be an excellent choice, because then you could use Rage alongside of that, and you would get an insane amount of free energy just instantly. So, like, Nourish is an excellent choice. Like, if you're gonna choose a buff, I would say yes, it's gonna be Roar, it's gonna be Nourish. They might change what Mirage's ability, but I'm not sure. So the main thing is, like, we should move on. That is number 8 on the list, Oberon. Number 9 on the list is Lavos. We are almost at an hour, so we got to be quick about this. 5 minutes in conjunction survival is going to be a little bit crazy. Who is it? Lavos? Yes, Lavos, way at the top of the list. Okay, here we go. No Archon shards. He doesn't need them. He is a cooldown based frame. He's very complicated. Let's just get into it. Triple Umbra, even though I can't afford to, I've got all these lower rank mods. So I've got Triple Umbra adaptation. I've got Augur Secrets. Stretch and Augur Reach are giving me 70% range. And then I've got Augur Secrets, Power Drift, and Growing Power, giving me some decent strength. And then, of course, you've got Prime Continuity for a little bit of duration. Okay. And, of course, duration also giving you some status duration. So the basic gist is, like, what you have to do, with a tank getting these classic buffs where you're just running around, is you have to hold down 1 and then hold down 4 to get a gas buff. Press 4, get the fire damage. It's going to go in a ring, so you have to line up the ring properly. The gas damage is the first step. You're going to hold down 1. You're going to hold down 4. And then I think what you might do is press 3, get the cooldown reduction on all the enemies that are still surviving, get the gas damage, and then cast Sickening Pulse right after that with a 10-second cooldown. So pretty easy. And so what you're doing is you're stacking up the gas damage, which is actually just toxin damage, and then you're stacking up the heat damage because of Sickening Pulse, which is going to duplicate them with fresh timers. So super, super fun. Super. It's exactly what you want. I mean, it's really kind of so much fun to just spam all your abilities as fast as you can. If you're ever scared, press 1. You will heal very, very quickly. So keep that in mind. Other than that, I would say he is a true tank. He's got 1,800 armor. He's got 2,000 health. He's a monster. No need for energy. Little bit of shields, but honestly, who cares? I would say Lavos, very, very fun. But he is number 9 on the list. That infinite energy comes in a very fun way. But let's talk about the last frame, Kullervo. Here we go. Where is he? Where's the boy? My choice for the best starter frame, because you can get him pretty early. No need for any Archon shards. Let's talk about him. The only frame that I haven't replaced any abilities. Look at that. That should tell you something right there. I've got Arcane Energize. I've got Arcane Avenger. We've got double Umbra plus no adaptation because you don't need it because of his 2, which we will get into later. We've got Prime Continuity plus Augur Message giving us duration. We've got a couple fun choices. Stretch is all the... Oh, I've got Stretch and Cunning Drift giving me range. And then I've got Augur Secrets. And then the fun choice is going to be Prime Flow and Streamline to really allow me to spam my abilities like crazy. The whole thing is spamming your 2 is going to keep you alive. Of course, you know, you talk about Arcane Energize and Arcane Adventure. Those are standards for a tank build, so let's just get right into it. Spam your 2. First of all, spam your 2. Keep it active at all times. Keep that Overguard cap as high as you can get. You're going to get some nice numbers with growing power. You're also going to spam your 1. Keep that duration active. It's only 18 seconds, so it's a little bit rough. You are going to get red crits on pretty much every weapon, though, so it's exactly what you want. The other big thing is you've got your 4, which is going to give you combo duration. I don't really need it at all times. It's kind of one of these lockdown abilities that relies on there actually being enemies inside of it, which shouldn't really happen. Excuse me. It shouldn't really happen because of his 3. His 3 has a 65-degree angle. Essentially, all you're doing, every enemy that you can see, you will cast your 3 on them, and then they are all now linked. And once you hit one of them, then 90% of that damage is spread to all other enemies. And when you're talking about getting absurd numbers on melee or just being a tank and having Arcane Avenger, what you're really talking about is just being able to click one enemy and they all die. And that is a kind of DPS that I really, really love. And that's why he's a DPS and a Weapon King, and that's why he is number 10 on the list. And now we are ready to go. We are ready to actually do some playing for the first time in God knows how long. We're actually going to play some Warframe. Hydroid is a fun choice. What do you think of Harrow? Vincent, I think Harrow's pretty good. I think he's very fun as an infinite energy Warframe. But guess what? Because Hydroid is unique, I don't need a true meta weapon, and I can rock and roll with the Fullman. So what we are going to be doing is we are going to be playing some Conjunction Survival. It is 7:57. We're at the 1 hour mark. So I always encourage people to skip around, use the time codes, because the builds do end up taking a while. That was about 40 minutes, I guess, half an hour. I mean, no, it was 40 minutes. Okay, anyway. Getting distracted once again. Let's come over here. We've got the full setup going. All right, let's do this. So we're pretty much going to be relying only on our primary. So we are going into level 200 Conjunction Survival. 1 second. Yeah, and I think the thing that I love about Harrow is just like he's fun in this way where you just kind of have this ability to just spam. You have to spam your abilities to play it properly, but you end up just being so strong. Like, keep your 4 active, you get invincibility, and then you get free crit chance. Keep your 3 active, you got infinite energy. Okay, but before I get distracted, let's talk about Harrow's abilities. So, the basic gist of it is like what I want to do is get to this main lobby area as quick as I can, and then I'm going to come over here. I hope it looks okay on the stream. This is actually probably the first test with the whole new TikTok setup. So first things first, press 4. They're all grouped up now. I can kind of shoot them a little bit easier with the Fullman. It seems like it doesn't have true infinite enemy punch through. Watch this. Get growing power, click 3. I got 970 on the armor. Too easy. We are in a doorway, so I'm going to try and keep it that way. Press 4. Yeah, there you go. Ooh, I'm getting deleted for a zillion. Something's just clearing me out. Oh, there's got a bunch of enemies behind me. Nice. Okay, let's try it out. Press 4. Shoot this. Press 1. And then we just kind of watch them melt. Look at that. Too much fun. And then if you're ever in a worried spot, the basic gist of it is like you're still going to be really incentivized to spam Polar Horizon. Like Polar Horizon is still going to be an S tier ability on this frame. But the basic gist is like we're already a minute in. Like we're just going to be cruising at top speed. We don't have our armor, but watch this. Get the black and white man. 1600 armor. Oh my god. It's just dumb at that point. It's meaningless numbers. You're at a point where, oh, Feline Greenies is dead. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to let him just stay dead. I'm not going to worry about him. I'm going to focus on shooting enemies more than anything because I kind of want to keep the gameplay active. I don't want any downtime because I know that now he'll just recover, so I can just pretty much spam this. 1600 armor. Oh, I can just refresh this if I just recast it. Is that right? Let me see. Let me test that theory. Oh no, it is going to give me only 1,000. Okay, so I do have to actually recast it in proper conditions. Okay, being a little bit lazy, we're going to press 4. 30 meters on the vortex. You're seeing what 30 meters looks like. It's pretty much every enemy on both sides of the door, but only directly on either side of the door, I would say. It's not... Oh, I'm almost dead. See, look at this. I mean, I'm a tank, still suffering a little bit. So I want to keep this 4 active. I want to keep this 1 active, at least in certain areas. I've still got 1,000 armor, but I'm still struggling a little bit. Healing Greenies has recovered. That is perfect. But yeah, the basic gist is like you've got decent enough energy that you should be able to spam Coil Horizon and then keep your 1 active in like a specific area. And then from then on, it's like your 1 is going to do some staggering. You know, your Coil Horizon is going to keep them in that specific area. You can see the 1 kind of denotes its area with a color shift. And then all you're doing is pressing 4 in a specific zone, keeping growing power active, and then throwing down one of these right on top of there. So tell me it's not too easy. I mean, these guys are 183. I'm not going for an hour. I'm only going for 5 minutes. But the basic gist of it is like we're going to go, we're going to show off a little bit of boss fight action because I think that's when, you know, I don't think it's necessarily about the bosses being super difficult. I think it's more about putting you in a high stress situation where you're having to manage this solo, and it's like you're playing, you know, you're playing with a specific weapon, like you're playing with the Fulmin, which is more of like an S tier weapon. What I do need to do is pop both of these guys right now because I have no reason to be here longer. So I am just going to pop these guys. We're going to send Black and White Man on his way. Angst is going to spawn in. Angst is a great choice. Angst will make this very... Oh, I'm dead. Oh, shit. That was embarrassing, folks. That was super embarrassing. You guys all saw it. It was written in the books. I'll blame being locked down, but yeah, no, he spawned right on top of me, and he deleted me. He deleted me. What can I say? I don't know if there was any way to come back from that, but yeah, we will just finish out the mission. We're at 5. We're at 4 minutes, so, you know, we're not going to be going too long. This is only 10 Warframes, so it's going to be, what, about 40 minutes, I guess? I mean, the basic gist of it is, like, as soon as we hit 5 minutes, we'll see if the Thrax enemies spawn, but at this point, all we're doing is... Oh, we've got some of these guys. Watch this. Pull them in. Oh my god, that's a lot of damage. Nice, 882. 882 on the low end is still pretty good. Yeah, I guess we're going to have to wait for the Thrax enemies. But yeah, I kind of just want to show off that the whole point is like what you're talking about with Harrow is that, or excuse me, what you're talking about with Hydroid is that you really get to take advantage of that Coil Horizon ability, and you just get to run around like a madman and just do a bunch of crazy shit and spam your abilities like crazy. Okay, here we go. Let's test this. I'm going to press this. I'm going to press this. And I am going to delete them instantly. And then once they're in that state, I'm going to click this and then spam my alt fire. Oh, these guys are 183. They're pretty tanky. Jesus. Anyway, we're done. We're out of here. 5 minutes in. Yeah, this is going to be a while. It's going to be, what, about 50 minutes? We're going to be going for another hour. Oh, God. Yeah, that was number 1 on the list, Hydroid. Let's see how fast we can do this. I mean, it's going to be 5 minutes each. So we're going to try and be as quick as we can. We're going to kind of move through this. I do think this is going to be a very long stream. But yeah, the whole point is, like, I do want to be able to test them. I do want to be able to test them. I think YouTube is working. It's bad that it doesn't show up. It just says to get started, start streaming on your streaming software. But can I refresh this? No. Oh, select stream. No current live streams. Okay, whatever. Whatever, dude. Let's keep it moving. That was it. That's Hydroid. Number 2 on the list. Oh, I tabbed out accidentally. 1 sec. Boom. Okay. Number 2 on the list. Grendel. Ooh, this is a fun one. Grendel is definitely a buff frame, so you do want to use an S tier weapon or a meta weapon. So I'm going to use the Accelera in this situation. It's just the lowest usage weapon that I have right now. But yes, this is Grendel Prime, number 2 on the list. Let's do it. Circulus again. Let's go in. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a longer stream, folks. It's good. We need some longer streams. We've been really slacking. I've been doing wrong by the chat, especially by the TikTok chat. I know TikTok loves longer live streams, so I want to try and do more of that. Anyway, let's keep it moving.
And the enemy calls for
All right, I'm just gonna stand here and activate this. Jesus Christ, I probably need to get some water. Excuse my voice cracks, folks. I was getting trolled. I was getting roasted in the comments about that on one of my other videos, but yeah, it's kind of inevitable. Okay, here we go. Let's do some Grendel gameplay. Keep enemies in your belly. That is rule number 1. All right. And then you're gonna stand in black and white, man. And then you're gonna press 2, and you're gonna press 4, and then everything dies. And you're just seeing numbers on top of numbers. You're seeing numbers in a way that I haven't seen in ages. Like just instantly clearing out everything. Look at this. Too good.
This would be an excellent place to deploy.
Oh, I guess this is a good opportunity to get kills with a necromech. Should I do a little bit of necromech action just to cheat you guys? I mean, Grendel is pretty basic. Like that's the whole point. Is like Grendel is actually just very straightforward. He's just a buff frame, and then if you're ever in a bad spot, you can activate your 3 and kind of you know, just strip all the armor, get all the kills. But yeah, I feel like I might troll you guys a little bit and do some necromech gameplay. What is that? How does that sound? Level 200 necromech. I should have Bone Widow plus Kuvik Rattler, so I should be able to pretty much delete everything. I mean, it is kind of fun. I only need 100 kills in the necromech for the Nightwave, so what I might just do is do this, chill for a little bit, get Nourish active, get Roar active, and then here I think it's 4. Yeah, it's F4. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do some Bone Widow Kuvik. Oh, I have Mazelon. Okay, good. Yeah, I do think Mazelon rocks pretty hard as well. Okay, so I think Bone Widow's strategy is you activate firing line, and it'll pretty much pacify everything for a couple seconds. And then anything that is still standing you can clear out pretty easily. But yeah, I just need 100 kills with the necromech, and I have a feeling that also what you might be rocking is you might be doing something like press 3, deactivate your 2, get some healing going. Can I not grab anybody that's... Oh. There you go, there's some healing. And then what I'm going to do is activate my 4. Yes, there you go, and that's the DPS you're looking for. I don't move very fast. That's the thing. Like, you kind of have to be a little bit sparing, and you can move forward a little bit if you play your cards right. Maybe I need to grab... Yeah, you definitely want to grab a higher level enemy, and then you'll get a little bit more healing. Dude, shout out Mr. Breezy, or Mr. Brezzy maybe. I don't know what it was intended to be, but yeah, shout out Mr. Breezy. I'll say that for following. First follower of the night. Shout out. Let's keep it moving. 100 kills with the necromech. Gamer moment, dude. How fast was that? That is criminal. All right, we're good. Brezzy, gotcha, nice. That's kind of cool. It's like Prezi, dude. That reminds me of there's this PowerPoint software essentially called Prezi, and I remember all of my friends were like obsessed with it. And in the end, Prezi is kind of what you use for like pitching stuff to startups and things like that. I mean, look at these numbers, dude. Look how simple and straightforward this shit is. Seriously classic. Seriously way too fun. Exactly what you need. Coming in clutch. I'm pretty much just going to clear them out without any trouble. I mean, what you're really just seeing is like when you have this level of buffs going on, like nothing exists around you. Nothing exists around you. If you see it, it dies. And so it's pretty fast. I got a question. You know how to make your Warframe stronger, like your character. What do you mean, like with mods? I would say mods is the main way, and then the other side way is going to be like doing some kind of Archon Shard type gameplay, like getting some red Archon Shards in there for some bonuses. I think what you're really talking about is like, oh, I want to actually succeed at this, so let's do this real quick. But what you're really talking about is you have to look at each Warframe individually and decide what are its strengths and what do you have to build for, and then that will decide where your strengths will have to go in terms of the build. And I think what happens with a lot of Warframes is that there's no like cookie cutter instant win build. Like a lot of Warframes are very funky and weird, and I use the word funky because it's like you have to like get down and dirty with them and play them for a little while and get to understand like, oh, for my specific playstyle, I don't really use these abilities. So I think Helminth is really the most game changer mechanic in any game. Like it turns this game into like the most classic, true like arcade shooter I've ever seen, where you have absolute freedom. I'm gonna die. You have absolute freedom to do whatever you want, and you can essentially build your characters to play as these insanely strange offshoots. Like the fact that I can use Coil Horizon like on almost any build is really, really criminal. Like it's hilarious to me that it's just one of the default abilities, because it's so like one of the Helminth abilities. It's so strong as a Helminth ability. 30 meters of pull. What build you got? Well, it depends. I mean, like Grendel, for example. Grendel is a triple buff frame, so he's got 2 buffs coming from Nourish, and he's got 1 buff coming from Roar. So what you're really talking about is all you're doing for Grendel is you're doing a max power strength, max duration build, because none of his abilities really benefit from range. So all you're really building for is you're looking for
you exist to strike.
You're looking for, okay, what are his strongest abilities? That's always what I go off of. Like, I think people get into the notion of like, oh, well, X or Y Warframe has this worst ability. This ability sucks, and that makes the Warframe bad. It's like, no, if ability sucks, you either Helminth it out or you ignore it. Like, I don't feel like if you're down, like, you always have the Helminth. Because what that really means is, like, if you have ability that you don't like, you can Helminth that ability out. And then now you don't have that ability anymore. You don't have to worry about it. Like, I encourage everyone to get into the Helminth system. Steven Estrada says, Gauss Prime any good? Gauss Prime is incredible. He's a classic Weapon King buff frame. I think with this guy... Oh, wait, he is a CC. He is a CC. I can play Fullman. Let's play some Fullman, dude. Yeah, so let's do it. Let's do some Styanax action. Yeah, Gauss Prime is very good. Bologna's definitely a hot dog pancake. That's good. That's good. That's a molecular gastronomy, right? That was from Derek. Shout out Steven Estrada. Shout out Derek. That's fucking molecular gastronomy, dude. Shout out Steven for dropping some likes my way. But yeah, let's just keep it cruising. This is Styanax, folks. Big boy Styanax. We are using Fullman because, of course, he has an active CC ability. We can test it right now. It has this really fun homing mechanic, which makes it very easy to use. So keep that in mind when we get into the gameplay. Mr. Brezzi says, what's a good prime to grind with it or start off with? Well, I think the whole point is, like, you want to choose the newest prime. You want to choose the newest because they're going to be unvaulted for the longest. So you're going to get the longest time to farm out all of their parts. Like, what you're really talking about is doing a bunch of disruption missions. I'm like 90% sure that's the best way to do it. Watch this. Group. Oh my god. That is fucked up. Oh my god. I'm sucking ass, but watch this. Watch this, folks. I'm going to go big boy mode. You're going to see it. Big boy mode is about to be activated. Let's get a growing power proc. Let's hit this. And we're going to get an absolute fuckload of energy coming back to us. We have 2,300 on the shields. We're going to get a little bit more shields. We're going to get some big numbers, and then watch this. Yeah, 6,000. Yeah, that's good numbers. 8,700. Yeah, dude, that's what I want to see. I mean, I love Conjunction. Conjunction is so good. Here we go. All we do now for the rest of the game is just spam this. Get your growing power proc. Get your black and white man proc, and you can pretty much kill anything. 14,000 overguard. I believe I have like a cap of 20,000 or something. But you're seeing I'm out healing all this shit, and I have infinite energy. All I have to do to recast it is find black and white man again, which he's over here, so I want to get him in the center. Shoot this guy, get this active.
If you have
Of
an
course,
overguard,
when you have
may
16,000 overguard, you don't have to worry about your shields anymore. So all you're doing now, for the love of Saint Mary, is you've got 20,000 overguard. Oh my god! Waffles are just pancakes with abs, dude. Once again, you're talking about redefining the format of a food, and then it changes everything. The waffle is just a refined pancake because it has the syrup vessels, and it also crisps better than a pancake. But the batter recipe is very, very similar. Like, a waffle batter is probably a little bit thicker than a pancake batter recipe, but overall it's pretty similar. And so what you're really talking about is you make a small change in a batter recipe, and then you're like, oh, my pancake batter is too thick. Oh, well, I have a waffle iron, and now it's waffle batter. Right? Whatever prime that is amazing. Oh, this isn't a prime. This is just Styanax. This is just... Oh, I'm dead. I let my overguard get depleted. I was a fool. I was a simpleton. I let my overguard get depleted. Here we go. Activate that. And then we activate the overguard ability. There we go. So that's what you're learning, folks. You've got to spam that shit. You got to spam it, man. And if you're ever scared, all you got to do, press 1. Get them all sucked up. Press 4. Clear them all out. Get 10,000 overguard. Get 15,000 overguard. I mean, folks, is it cringe or what? We had, who's that? Zale follow? Zale8 follow? Shout out Zale. Yeah, here's the thing, folks. Tomorrow's or next week's video is going to be a lot better. DPS frames is a much shorter tier list, so I should be able to at least review like the top 5 frames. I don't know if I can review all 10, but yeah, this is going to be easily 15 minutes. We're already at the 16-minute mark, so it's going to be a little bit rough in terms of timing for me. I want to try and review. We might not review all 10, but we'll see. The timing will be a little bit interesting. I'm going to die. I have not kept my abilities active. My 3 is deactivated. My 2 is deactivated. My 4 is deactivated. Spam this. We're kind of out healing them, but the basic gist is like you're killing them so fast that it doesn't really matter. Look at all that overguard. Excuse me, not overguard. Armor strip. Armor strip is passive. Dude, Daniel Reyes in the chat. He says, yo, it's you. He says, favorite YouTuber right here. Shout out Daniel. Dude, Daniel, I've got big news. I mean, in the next couple months, you guys got to check out the YouTube channel. Because what we are talking about is we are talking about moving over to doing a bunch of 10-minute videos. So taking a break from the TikTok game reviews, moving into some 10-minute videos that, you know, you can maybe upload later on TikTok. But what you're really talking about is like, I want to, because I am at 340 subscribers on YouTube, and for the most part, I hope that if these videos are higher quality and they don't have that horrible audio issue, I would hope that it's a little bit better for people and they're not as like offended by the video itself, and then I'm not getting like fucking 6 dislikes or 4 dislikes on every single stream. Like, I want the better viewership, but that does come at a cost. Like, you have to put in the effort. If you're gonna fuck around and put out bad content, then yeah, you're gonna get a bunch of dislikes because you're putting out bad content. Like, you gotta be real about that shit. And part of it is like, these videos take a long time. Like, talking about this and breaking down videos unscripted, it ends up taking a long time, and that is hard for people. And that's why I kind of want to be able to give you guys... Oh, did they fix it? No, they did not fix it. Oh, maybe they fixed it. What is going on? I'm gonna die. What just happened? Oh, I don't have my primary because someone stole it. I got killed because of a Blitz Eximus, I guess. So what I'm gonna do is hit this. I'm going to keep Rally Point active. I'm going to activate my 2. Where is this? Oh, he's right there. He's invisible for the time being. Okay, give me 1 second. There he is. I'm going to shoot him, and then we're going to be pretty much out of here. Wait, there's a Battlist just chilling right there. Spam this. Hit this. And we'll be out of here. Lickety split. I think I might just only review the top 5. I think this might take too long. I think I'll only be able to do the S tier Warframes because it's still going to be like 25 minutes. So we're looking at already 20 minutes right now. So I think for now I won't be able to do all 10. So I'll at least give you the builds for all 10. But I don't think I'll have time for all 10. Dude, it's like, this is going to suck. Like, I think what I'll end up having to do is just only be able to review the S tier Warframe. So I guess that's what I'm realizing. in the moment while I'm doing the live stream is that these streams take a long time. Like I'm slow, but in the end, each stream or each thing takes 5 minutes. The top 5 primes that you like the most, says Mr. Brezzy. Oh, that's an interesting one. I would say, right now Hydroid is up on the list. I would say the fun ones are like doing the cross-pollination of like tank and DPS, or like tank, DPS, and active CC. There's a lot of crossover. You know, Hydroid is a classic. I don't think anyone's going to have access to him. I'm pretty sure he's vaulted. Revenant is a monster. Revenant is going to show up on the DPS list. He's so much fun. He's really, really a great Warframe. He's so well done, and he has this God mode ability that's fucking stupid and dumb, but it's just the best ability you've ever seen. Mesa is a double buff. So Mesa is going to be using Prisma Lens because it's just a meta weapon. It's just a huge area. And that's about it. Oh, God, folks. I mean, is it classic or what? Do I use that word every single time over and over again in every single stream? Yes, I do. But is it a very fun game and very arcadey and honestly one of those games that I always want to come back to? And even though I may not play it continuously all the time, it's still so much fun. Like, so much fun. It's really, really what you want in a game, but that's only if it sinks its teeth into you. Like, if this game doesn't hook you right away, that's what I always tell people is like, if this game doesn't hook you right away, don't play it. Don't play it, okay, folks? There's other games to play. There's plenty of games in the world. You can play other games. You know, if you're into Souls-likes, there's a whole bunch of really, really cool ones. You know, I just did a whole bunch of fun stuff in Wolong. You know, that was like 1,000 zones that took forever. But yes, what you're seeing right now is just some classic, really fun Prisma Lens action. This is just a true, I think it's like an 8-meter AoE. So fun. Lore accurate Warframes are OP in every way. May need to remind Loki died. A miscalculation, dude. I love lore accurate Warframes just as a meme. It's so funny. Like I feel like the Warframe memes are so good. I think what was awesome is I loved seeing the Ghost Prime trailer come out because that thing blew up on TikTok. That thing was huge on TikTok. Like I saw so many Warframe streamers put out that clip, like that trailer, and they like redid it or they changed it in some way, and it was so good. Oh my god. Daniel says funny as hell. Yeah, no, I love all the weird shit where it's like I may have forgotten about it all that time ago, but it's still super fun. Have I not cast my abilities? I think I just forgot. Anyway, is it time that I activate my 4? I don't really want to do it in the black and white zone, but I still do get the buff. So what I can do is do this and then activate my 4. And then let's just see how it does. Oh, I guess it's a little bit slower than I thought, but you know, it's still okay. It's not as truly devastating as I thought it was, but I think it's not too crazy either. And of course, if you're ever scared, oh, you do need to keep your 3 active. That's going to keep you alive. That is the only thing keeping you alive. But here, let's do that one more time. Let's get this buff. Let's do this, and then let's try it one more time. Oh, let's make sure we clear out this guy. That guy's going to be annoying. He's going to skew the results a little bit. There we go. He's down. Okay, let's do it. Yeah, there you go. That's pretty good. I mean, yeah, it's definitely not the kind of absurd DPS numbers that I thought it was, but I will still say I think Mesa is really, really good. I think this is still a pretty good test. Like, you've got the... Oh, I don't even have the buffs going. Oh, is that playing a role in my mission statement? That might be. Anyway, let's give it one more shot. That's what you're really testing with Mesa, is the effectiveness of Peacemakers. Yeah, I think this is doing better when you have Roar and the gun buff active. So that's going to definitely play into it. It's like, yeah, you can target an enemy, click them, but really the gist of it is like you can just reactivate Peacemaker if you're ever stressed out. But yeah, as a double buff, you are still just going to use a meta weapon. How do you keep your energy up as Mesa? It's a couple things. The main thing is that it's good to keep energy orbs on the playfield because it allows you to use them when you need them, as opposed to just having a vacuum active and just pulling all of them in. So I have 380 energy right now. Watch this. Boom, 161 energy. Oh, that's Violence. Violence is a game over acolyte. Violence is one of those acolytes that can deactivate your abilities. So he can absolutely kill you in a second. He's a very scary acolyte. I think I might spam him with the Falcor. Because, yeah, you're seeing the numbers on the Falcor are just absurd. Like, whew, dead instantly is the type of numbers we're working with on the Falcor. But, yes, Violence and Malice are the two, in my opinion, the scariest acolytes to deal with. If you get those two showing up in your mission, pray to the Lord Jesus in heaven above that you will survive. What character do you like using the most? I would say what I end up saying is, like, the character that I like using the most is the character that allows me to use every weapon. So someone like Vauban is literally so brainless and turns the game into such an easy mode game that, like, literally Vauban allows you to use any weapon in the game. Like, you can use fucking Dubba Stubba, you can use the Stug, and you can probably make it work with Vauban. Like, that's the kind of corny part. It's like, there are certain frames that are just so absurdly... They have this... It's really just CC. Honestly, folks, it's active CC. It's being able to pull all enemies in an area into you and then handle them how you wish. And it allows you to use weapons like the Fulmin. It allows you to use weapons like the Ferox and the Opticor Vandal that are not necessarily absurdly strong weapons, but they have this ability to click something and delete it from the world. Where if your reticle is on something and you're using the Opticor Vandal, as long as you hit it, it will die. It deals such an absurd amount of damage that you don't like have to process what you're shooting at. Like, and that's why you use something like an active CC. I am getting deleted because I'm pretty sure my 3 is deactivated. Yeah, I should be able to revive myself pretty easily. There we go, we're back. First of all, activate 3. Second of all, I don't think I have Black and White Man, so I'm just going to activate both of these. And then what I am going to do is activate my 4 and see if I can actually clear out. So this is what I would call a high-stress situation. This is a situation where I'm going to activate this, deactivate it, and then activate it again, so I can get that wide angle. As you can see, my whole goal is to just be able to target as many enemies as possible while also still being able to focus directly on the these guys themselves. Like, these guys are the primary target because they are the danger and the threat, and they're the thing that's stressing out the gameplay loop. But what you're really talking about is... Oh, I'm getting a little bit embarrassed right now. Okay, much better. And we're out of here. We did fail, but it was after 5 minutes, so I don't care. Yeah, it's 8:26. Yeah, we're definitely just doing the top 5, so we've only got 1 left to do. But so when we do DPS frames, that's what we're going to do, is we're just going to review the top 5. Those are the S tier Warframes. And what I want to kind of go through is, when we do more of these things, what am I missing? 4th ability for Vauban. I don't know how to spell this cracked. Yeah, Bastille. Yeah, Bastille. Yeah, no. So Vauban and Zephyr are one of the only 2 Warframes in the entire game that are passive CC, which means you activate a duration-based ability and it pulls enemies in continuously. And then Daniel Reyes says, no armor, no problem. Oh, where am I going? No, dude. As soon as that 3 gets deactivated, it's just fucking game over moment. Like, because Mesa is not a tank if she doesn't have her 3 active. She just becomes a normal Warframe. She just becomes a straight-up normal Warframe. And then you're just turned into scrap like it's nothing. Like, it's so dumb. So simple, but so dumb at the exact same time. I am glad to see that YouTube did work. You know, it was kind of a quiet stream on TikTok, but I want to make sure that we're still keeping up the streams on TikTok. I want to make sure we're still doing it right. I'm glad that it came through okay, but we've got our last frame to review. And then I've got a cookie sitting right here and also some Chinese food waiting for me. So I'm ready to eat. I'm ready, dude. Here we go. Last frame, number 5 on the list. Wisp, the last S tier Warframe and the last frame we will be reviewing. Another excellent choice for Excellitra. Oh, Excellitra is a fun choice. I think Excellitra might not be the best choice in this situation. I think what I might do is take a weapon that's higher on the list. What would be a good weapon to put on that list? I don't even know. Oh, interesting. No, maybe we keep Excellitra. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, let's do it. Let's keep Excellitra. Maybe actually a pretty good example. Anyway, let's do it. This is Wisp. The last frame we'll be reviewing at 8:30. I mean, it was a good stream. You know, folks, I'll say it once and I'll say it forever. These streams, you know, they always just end up taking forever, and it is like, you know, I apologize. I apologize to the YouTube viewers after the fact. I know it can be kind of a slog, but I hope the time codes help. I hope you can click around and be like, okay, he's gonna at least play the S tier Warframe, so I can at least see what his thoughts are and what does his build actually look like for these S tier Warframes. And it's like, yes, do I care about failing? No, because all I'm really showing you is the first 5 minutes. Because if you can survive 5, then you can practice surviving for 10 and then 20. And then once you can survive 20, then you can pretty much survive for 50. And then once you can survive for 50, then you're pretty much chilling. What prime is the strongest out of all of them? I would say probably the ones that are out right now. I would say Grendel is probably the strongest to go for. Like, Grendel can get some numbers that will turn everything to mush. Shout out Giorno Giovanna, dude. Nice. Giorno Giovanna 518. God, I fucking love JoJo. JoJo is the best. Good to see a JoJo enjoyer. I've been missing them. I've been missing them in my chat. You know, I've been pissed off. I want more JoJo fans. That show is so sick. It's so weird, but it is one of my favorite shows. Oh my god. Anyway, let's get right into it, folks. Are you seeing this? Are you seeing this gameplay that we're getting into right now? This is going to be an ammo hog. Yeah, no, Wisp is a fucking monster. We have 153 heal rate per second. So every second we're healing like so much health. Just so much health. But yes, this build, the main stipulation is that it's a fucking ammo hog. So you need to be deleting everything as efficiently as possible. So part of the secret with the Weapon King is that you're not necessarily killing everything all the time. Sometimes your goal is to build up enemies and allow them to accumulate so that you can get more use out of each bullet. Like, the basic gist is that a lot of it, I don't like Accelitra. I mean, high damage but terrible ammo capacity. Yeah, and that's why, like, the whole point with Accelitra is you have to maximize the usage of it. So you're gonna use it only on a true buff Warframe, and then watch this. You're gonna allow every enemy in the map to gather. You're gonna make sure you have all of your buffs active, and then you're just gonna click and they all die. You're gonna click. You're gonna use probably a clip or a clip and a half. Yeah, you're probably this is probably gonna end up being about 2 clips, but you're getting about 7 or 8 clips worth of ammo. So you're gonna you're gonna need primed ammo mutation, guaranteed. That is mandatory on this build, on the Accelitra build. But yes, the whole point is part of the build is slowing down your gameplay enough to the point where you can actually take advantage of the use of a meta weapon. Like, a true meta primary has this ability to one-tap every group of enemies no matter what they are. Like, a true meta primary is a fucking monster. Like, so easy to use. If you're ever scared, what you do is you get growing power, you press 3 for breach surge, and then now you delete, and then now breach surge is going to give you that you know, that cascading damage bonus is, I guess, the proper terminology. But yes, pretty basic. Keep your 2 active. I've got Wisp. I've got the moats in a really good spot, so I pretty much have it active at all times. But yes, we are just cruising around at top speed. And yeah, as a Weapon King, as a triple buff, absolute monster. I mean, dude, you're seeing it. Wisp still number 5 on the list, but has this ability to turn everything to mush in a way that is just hilarious and goofy. And obviously we're only going for 5 minutes, but you're seeing I'm just chatting. I'm literally just talking shit, barely looking at the game, checking TikTok every time I see an update. It is just insanely criminal. Like, you are just cruising at top speeds. You've got that insane speed buff. Obviously when you're in conjunction, you're going to get even more power strength. So the gameplay is just so much fun, and really the whole point is you are drastically incentivized to decide on a specific weapon that will take advantage of Wisp's bonuses. Like, a weapon that will take advantage of how much ammo you can produce and how much ammo you can spam. Like, you know what I say, folks. I don't know if I've ever said this before. Ammo spammo. The whole point is ammo is spam. And sometimes you'll be in a situation where you'll run into a wall where you're doing Deviri, and there just aren't enough spawns to keep up with the amount of ammo economy that you need. So, yes, the Acceletra will absolutely suffer in specific situations, but in this situation where you have as many spawns as you could ever want, because it's Steel Path, like, you're goofy, you're silly, you're not even thinking. You're getting so many buffs that you're turning everything into just dust. You're just wiping the floor, and you're seeing that I'm getting this level of really, really simple hunter munitions. Mania is easy, but what I want to be careful about with Mania is that I don't want to be close to him. If he hits me, his heavy attack is going to stun me and throw me in the air, but it doesn't matter because I am dealing fucking comical amounts of damage. Here we go. Watch this. Watch this. Oh, they're both dead instantly. Okay, cool. So easy. They're both going to be right next to each other, and I'm going to clear them out like that. And we're done. We're out of here. That's the last Warframe, folks. We're done. Do you have a Wukong build? Yeah, you spelled it right. Yeah, here, I can show you the Wukong build. That'll be the last thing that we do. Yeah, Wukong for me is number 17 on the list. He is very solidly at the bottom of B tier. So he's just kind of a single buff frame, but he's very, very strong. He's very, very strong. Anyway, let's cruise on out of here, and then we will show the Wukong build, and then that'll be it for the stream, folks.
What you have
It was a
learned
great one.
here will serve you
It was a
well.
fun one. I hope it does well on YouTube. I hope it sounds good on YouTube. I'm gonna be pissed off if it sounds bad. It's gonna make me rage, folks. It's gonna make me rage. I changed the sample rate. I turned off all the settings. I'm praying to God. I mean, Skypick said it was okay, I think, but you know, we'll have to find out. Anyway, let's do the Wukong build, and then we are out of here. Okay, here we go. Close out of that. Okay. Wukong. First thing about Wukong. Double Azure Archon Shard. This one is Tau Forge. You need it to get over 300. It's not super necessary, but it's very nice to have. His fourth ability, his stick, has been replaced with Roar. I don't really like his stick because it has a lot of impact damage, so it ends up kind of sucking. Let's talk about it. Of course, Tau Forged Amber, because he has Roar, I want to get as much energy as I can. Shout out Mr. Brezzi, says appreciate the tip so I can get better. Yeah. Double Umbra. Adaptation. You've got Prime Continuity, Augur Message, Narrow-Minded for duration, and then you've got Transient Fortitude, Augur Secrets, Power Drift. This is literally the same build, almost the same build as Chroma. It's a max duration, max strength build, perfectly evened out. Because you want high roar, but then also you want high duration for Defy. Defy is going to give you 1500 armor. The other secret is that you get infinite healing from your Cloudwalker, and your Celestial Twin is insanely strong. I love Molt Vigor. It's going to give you more power strength. And, of course, he's a tank, so he has access to Arcane Avenger. You do also get growing power, so you've got a decent chunk of strength getting in there. So he's very, very fun. I think everyone can get down for a little bit of Wukong action. So that's pretty much all I got for you, folks. We will close out on the Wukong tab. I hope you had a great time. It was awesome. YouTube, I want to just make sure that it's still working. I'm praying to God. I'm praying to the Lord Almighty that it works. Just because it didn't populate properly, but I think I have a feeling I know why. So let's come over here. Let's come over to live. Yes, it is live. Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah, I think it's still safe. Yeah, okay, we're good to go. All right, folks. Then we're done on YouTube. All right, YouTube, you guys were great. Shout out Skypix for coming through. You guys were awesome. Take care. We're out of here. Bye-bye.